From volunteers to leaders, ownership prevents burnout. If everything in your nonprofit depends on one or two exhausted leaders, burnout is inevitable. This episode shows how to turn volunteers into true leaders through defined roles, ownership, recognition, and shared decisions so growth becomes collaborative and sustainable. If you're leading a small grassroots vegan nonprofit, you probably have amazing volunteers. People who care deeply, people who show up when asked, people who give their time because they believe in the mission. But here's the problem. Most nonprofits do not actually build leaders. They assign tasks. Can you help with check-in? Can you bring in supplies? Can you post this flyer? Tasks get completed, but ownership never develops. And when ownership never develops, everything flows back to the same one or two exhausted founders. That is how burnout spreads. Today, we're talking about the shift from volunteers to leaders, because ownership prevents burnout. The task trap. When volunteers are only given tasks, three things happen. They stay dependent on direction, they never fully understand the bigger vision, the core leadership team stays overloaded. You become the bottleneck. Every decision flows through you. Every campaign needs your approval. Every event requires your oversight. That is not sustainable. If your nonprofit can't operate without you constantly pushing it forward, it's fragile. The goal is not more volunteers. The goal is distributed leadership, the shift, roles instead of tasks. Volunteers need clarity, not just about what to do, but about who they are inside the organization. Instead of saying, "Can you help with social media this month?" say, "You are a community story lead. Your role is to capture and share one impact story per week." That language changes everything. A role carries identity. Identity builds ownership. Ownership builds consistency. Action step 1. Define 3 clear volunteer roles. Start small. You don't need 10 roles. Define 3. For example, community outreach lead, responsible for building relationships with local vegan businesses and partners. Content and story lead, captures impact stories, manages social posts, and shares testimonials. Event and logistics lead, oversees planning timelines, volunteer coordination, and follow-through. Each role should have a clear purpose, a clear outcome, a defined scope. When people know what they own, they show up differently. Action step number 2, assign ownership instead of tasks. Ownership means you define the outcome. They define the execution. Instead of post this graphic on Tuesday, try, we need to promote the monthly donor drive. You own the content plan for the next 4 weeks. Now they're thinking strategically. Ownership invites creativity. It also builds confidence, and confident volunteers evolve into leaders. Action step number 3, create a contributor recognition system. People stay when they feel seen. Recognition does not have to be complicated. It can be monthly spotlight posts, public appreciation at events, highlight sections in your newsletter, contributor of the month features. The key is consistency. If someone contributes repeatedly and nothing changes, motivation declines. If someone contributes and receives recognition, motivation increases. Recognition reinforces ownership. Action step number 4. Open one small decision to supporter voting. This is powerful and underused. Let your supporters vote on something small but meaningful. Examples: which campaign theme to focus on next month, which local partner to spotlight, which event topic to prioritize. Voting builds buy-in. When people feel they have influence, they invest more emotionally. Emotional investment increases retention. Retention reduces burnout, because now growth is shared. Why this matters? Burnout in grassroots vegan nonprofits rarely comes from lack of passion. It comes from centralized pressure. When everything depends on one or two leaders, exhaustion is inevitable. But when roles are defined, ownership is distributed, and contributors are recognized, something shifts. The organization starts to feel lighter, more collaborative, more resilient, more sustainable. Leadership is not about control. It's about structure. Structure protects energy, and protected energy allows you to stay in the movement long term. In episode 5, I We'll talk about building infrastructure that outlasts individual leaders, because sustainability is not just about money, it's about systems. And systems are what turn grassroots passion into long-term impact.